Have you ever stopped to wonder how a search engine, or any database really, can find one specific thing out of billions of items in like less than a second? It feels like magic, right? Well, it's not. It's all about having a clever structure. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the data structure that makes it all possible.
Okay, let me ask you this. Imagine you've got a phone book with a billion names in it, and you need to find just one. How would you do it? I mean, you're not going to start at the letter A and just read every single name, right? Of course not. Your brain just instinctively knows there has to be a better way.
And the difference between those methods is just insane. Reading one by one could literally take you years, but using that clever trick, seconds. Computers are up against this exact same problem, and believe me, they use a very clever trick. And that gets us to our first big idea. The secret to this incredible speed isn't about searching faster or having a more powerful computer. Nope, it's about organizing the information in a really smart way before you even start looking.
So let's meet the hero of our story, the binary search tree, or BST for short. Now, on the surface, it's just a way to arrange information. It kind of looks like a family tree, but it's all built around one simple, powerful rule that completely changes the game.
So what is this secret sauce? What's the big idea? Well, it all boils down to one simple, yet incredibly powerful rule. This one rule is the entire foundation for why a BST is so mind-bogglingly fast. And here it is. For any number, or node in this tree, everything in its left branch is smaller than it, and everything in its right branch is larger. That's it. Seriously, that's the whole rule. Take a look at the number 42 at the very top. See how everything to its left is less than 42, and everything to its right is more? This simple rule applies all the way down the tree, at every single step.
Okay, so we've got the rule down. Now for the fun part. Let's actually put this thing to work and see how it helps us find what we're looking for in this, well, what looks like organized chaos.
All right, time for a little test. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to find the number 81. Looking at this whole tree, where do we even begin?
Well, we always start at the top, the root, which is 42. Is 81 bigger or smaller? It's bigger, so we go right. And just like that, boom, we've ignored the entire left side of the tree. We just cut our search in half with one decision. Okay, now we're at 70. Again, 81 is bigger, so we go right. Now we're at 99. 81 is smaller, so we go left. Then at 92, it's smaller again, so we go left. And there it is! Found it! In just 4 quick steps, we found our needle in this haystack. Every single decision cuts the remaining problem in half. It's so efficient that even if you double the number of items in the tree, it only takes one extra step to find anything. That's some serious power.
But wait, what if the number we're looking for isn't even in the tree? Well, the process is just as fast. We just follow the same exact rules. Left for smaller, right for larger. We keep going until we hit a dead end, a place where we should go, but there's nothing there. And hitting that wall isn't a failure. It's definitive proof that the number doesn't exist. And we find that out just as quickly.
And here's the really cool part. Adding a new number uses the exact same logic. You just pretend you're searching for the number you want to add. You follow the path down until you find the empty spot where it's supposed to be, and you just plug it in right there. It's a beautifully simple system.
So finding stuff and adding stuff, pretty straightforward, right? But what about taking something out? This is where things get a little more intricate.
You see, when it comes to deleting a node, it's not a one-size-fits-all problem. It really depends on how many kids that node has. We can break it down into 3 simple cases, ranging from super easy to, well, a little bit tricky.
The first 2 cases, no problem at all. If the node you want to delete is a leaf with no children, you just snip it off. Done. If it has only one child, you basically just have the parent skip over it and connects directly to the grandchild. In both of those situations, our magic rule for the whole tree stays perfectly fine.
But, that third case, that's the real brain teaser. When a node has 2 children, you can't just pluck it out. You'd leave a giant hole and break the tree in 2. The whole structure would fall apart. We need to find a replacement, something that can take its spot without breaking that all-important magic rule. And the solution is actually super elegant. To get rid of a node with 2 children, like our root node 42 here, we need a stand-in. And the perfect candidate is its successor, which is just a fancy way of saying the very next biggest number in the entire tree. In this case, that's 47. So we find 47, we promote it up into 42's old spot, and then we just have to delete 47 from where it used to be, which is now a much, much easier problem to solve. The tree is healed, the rule is safe. Problem solved.
So we've seen how these trees work, the searching, the adding, the deleting, but why should you care? Let's zoom out and see how this abstract idea powers the technology we use every single day.
Well, because this fundamental concept is the backbone of, well, almost everything. It's how your computer's file system is organized. It's how giant databases can index billions of records. It's why search engines are so fast. It is a true cornerstone of computer science. But there's a catch, a really, really big one.
Take a look at these two trees. Now, believe it or not, they both hold the exact same set of numbers. But one of them is an efficiency superstar, and the other one, well, it's pretty much useless.
You see, on the left, we've got this beautiful, bushy, well-balanced tree. Searching here is lightning fast because every step cuts the problem in half. But on the right, yikes. It's got the same numbers, but because of the order they were put in, it's turned into this long, pathetic, spindly chain. Searching this thing is no better than just reading a list from top to bottom. It has completely lost its superpower.
And that right there brings us to maybe the most important lesson of all. The whole superpower of a binary search tree comes down to its shape. Balance is everything. A balanced tree is a fast tree. An unbalanced tree is just a slow list in disguise.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question. You know, in the real world, data is always changing. Things are being added, things are being deleted. So how do these trees stop themselves from becoming those slow, useless chains over time? How do computers notice they're getting lopsided and automatically fix themselves to stay fast? Well, that's a story for another explainer.